Hi everybody, this is the new installments of the Lock and Load system by Lock and Load Publishing. This is the Heroes of the Gap, a long-awaited game, at least for fans of the Lock and Load system. I just want to give a brief and general overview of the map and taking a look at one particular scenario, namely Redbacker 1, which is a scenario that is played along 6 turns, and I am now at the end of the second turn, and I'm about to start the third turn of this game, of this scenario. I love this map. The reason why I love this map is that because it's big, it's glossy, and it's very well designed. It's beautiful, as usual. The Lock and Load maps look gorgeous, have beautiful details: the forest, the roads, the trails, buildings. Basically what I want to do is just take a look at the map. It's divided in let's say 5, 6 areas. We have 3 towns, okay? The major town, that is Eisenbach. Then we have Klappebruch and Berggipfel, if I don't pronounce it wrong. And then we have 2 hills, hills 330 and hill 320. And then what I really like are these 2 open fields here, one on the east and one on the west, divided by the main roads of Eisenbach, and with buildings on both sides. And actually it's very, very nice, the river that cut into the city of Eisenbach. So what is this scenario about? Basically the initial setup of the scenario, in the initial setup of the scenario, the Russians are placed anywhere on hill 320, and Americans, if I'm not wrong, are positioned anywhere east of row P, and the rest of the team Charlie, here is the team Yankee and here is the team Charlie, are positioned anywhere in buildings or adjacent to the buildings in Berggipfel here. So my idea in setting up was to try to position the team Charlie here as a threat to the Russians here, who necessarily must advance this way to reach Eisenbach, because the Russian objective is to not have any American units either in a building or adjacent to a building in the east part of on the east bank of the Eisenbach river. So Russians are basically forced to either move this way or move this way. So my idea was that through the team Charlie here, that is of course could not expect to block all the tanks, but what they could do is that to delay the advance of some of the tanks. And why? Because on the way to the Eisenbach, the tanks would be threatened by attacks from ordnance and machine guns from the rear, that of course, as usual, has the lowest armor values. So what happens in these first 2 turns is that one side, one part of the Russian tanks move south and then north this way, and the other side try to attack the Team Charlie here, which in the way that I thought this scenario precisely had the function of drawing attention and somehow to delay the advance of these vehicles toward Eisenbach. Some Russian tanks made it through Eisenbach, but they were destroyed by the M901. So in the third turn, the Russians are gonna try to make it through the north. There is an ATGM weapon team here that is very, very dangerous, even though according to the module rule any unit firing ATGM must fire that in 2 steps, which makes it somehow vulnerable but then very lethal if it actually managed to hit the enemy vehicle. So just to give an idea that the broader scope and the larger map of the game gives some very, very various and different allows different strategical approaches to the game. So far I've been enjoying a lot this game. I had some problems at first in familiarizing with the new ammo, since there are units that can fire 2 different kind of ammo, and there was some discussing on Board Game Geek whether these units can fire ATGM to infantry or not, but the module rule clearly states that you cannot. Let's take a look at the counters that come with the game. These are all the markers, okay, which I enjoy clipping. These are the American units. These are the Russian units. As you can see, a lot of tanks, which makes somehow Heroes of the Gap a different game, a different module than other lock and load modules. And one thing that is extremely interesting is that since this depicts an imaginary world, an imaginary war fought in 1985, vehicles have a very big range. So you can basically fire and be fired at almost from any position, and of course there are, you know, the whole penalties that you undergo for firing ordnance if you go through some degrading terrain and blah blah blah. I think this is all. These are all the cards that I made to memorize things better, and the game comes of course with some very nice special scale cards they really like. And I guess that's it. A very nice player aid cards, very specific, very detailed, with a lot of information. Keep these next to you all the time, not just while you play the game, but while you also read the rules. If you're not familiar with the system, the rules are version 3.1, so it's an updated version of the rules. And that's all. Thank you for watching.